Hello and welcome to the month of May 2018 Fire Chief's video message. Joining me in the studio this month is Pete Perringer. As always, a welcome guest to the studio. Pete, welcome, and what do we got on tap for May?
Well, May is a pretty busy month for us, and we've coming off a lot of activity, a lot of positive things, and a lot of good stuff going on. So I think one thing that is, we just came off of a accreditation visit.
Right.
And we have been involved with accreditation for a number of years, and we're still the only department in Maryland, the fire department in Maryland, that has the international accreditation. So a lot of good things there, and I know you were involved with the site visit with the inspectors, or
So I mean, the Center for Public Safety Excellence and the Center for Fire Accreditation International is the group, the process that goes about that self-reflection, internal assessment, and accreditation. So accreditation has support throughout the county government. The corrections department is accredited, county police is accredited, and as you said, fire rescue has been accredited since 2007. This would be our third process or series of application. They actually don't classify it as reaccredited. They declare it as you have to go through the entire process again. There's no shortened steps before being previously accredited. So the site visit was done by a 6-member group that came in. They're professional fire and department leaders and accreditation managers from other organizations within the country. They did a site visit. They looked at our organization. They looked at the standards of cover as we outline it, and the responses to a little over 250 criteria that identify how we analyze the processes of our organization. What are our changes that have occurred since 2013 when we were last accredited? What is areas that we have already identified for improvement? So that site visit, they left with their recommendation. Their recommendation is for accreditation. That goes to the commission. A group of us will be in Dallas, Texas in the first part of August at Fire Rescue International, where the commission will have their hearing and a final determination will be made for accreditation at that point. So we'll know sometime in the 8th, 9th, or 10th of August at FRI, but the recommendation of the site group was for accreditation. Now, they had great opportunities. Some of the folks from Arizona were quite impressed. I'm going to say that with a sarcasm point of view, with the weather we had that week. It had been 80 degrees on Saturday when they arrived, and then it was in the 40s and blustery for most of that week while they were here. But we had a 3-alarm incident on Oakleaf Drive while they were here, which is a great example of mutual aid, the interactions between Montgomery and Prince George's, as well as our other partners, Emergency Management, County Police, and Red Cross. They did many station visits or site visits and discussions with personnel. And one of the things that they reflected on upon their exit discussion, exit brief, is they felt like it was a 4 or 5 station department. While they knew, seeing all the information, they know our organization is 2,700 folks, 37 firehouses. They knew our organization very deeply, but they also said the sense in the feel they got at the station level and the visiting of people was it was a 4 or 5 station department because of the interactions with the people and that camaraderie, as well as that sense and vibe within the station. So they were quite impressed by that, and kudos goes to all members of our organization, those that were involved with accreditation and the development of the documentations, as well as every member who treated and greeted the site team as friends, site teams as an interested visitor. But that's how we treat folks that we meet on the street. The folks that come into the firehouse for a planned visit or an unplanned visit is welcome and opening. So it's a great opportunity to force us to be self-reflective on our organization and how we are structured as well as operate, and force us and push us on improvement. So that's the main purpose behind the accreditation.
You know, and you touched on it, but you know, it is a process, and it does, I believe, makes you a better department because it makes you be reflective or forces you to go through some certain processes. But you know, we've got some great people. Chief V, you know, is keeping us all involved along the way. So, but we were prepared, and I think it showed, and it was just another day at the office, really, because of that process and the preparation and the reflection that we've done over the last 10 years. So it was a very you know, good, nice to meet these people and kind of see the fruition of what the hard work of everybody.
Yep, no doubt, and it is a program, and as process, it used to be maybe considered best a project. It was something we did for a short period of time.
Right.
But to make it norm and to make it a part of our daily activities, it needs to become that process. It needs to become a program and a regular activity within the organization. And Jim provides us that, you know, resource and that constant assessment, because we make a lot of changes internal to the organization. As policy changes, the community grows and changes, we're doing things. It's that documentation of that and how that little push over here makes an impact over there, and how those things are correlated together, which is able to be identified, tracked, and documented by Jim or the the accreditation manager.
Yeah, and it certainly is a team effort for sure. But yeah, that was great, and looking forward to us getting another approval process there in August. How about, I know recently we were awarded with our participation or for our recognition for our homeless coalition participation.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of opportunities here recently to be recognized by parts of the community as well as recognized members of our organization. One of the recognitions from the parts of the community was the Montgomery County Coalition for Homeless, MCCH. They had an event last week where they recognized the public safety partners, police, fire, sheriffs, and the different law enforcement agencies within the county, as partners and supporters and heroes to advocating for the homeless in Montgomery County. MCCH's objective is to ensure that they end homelessness in Montgomery County. There's such a strong and vibrant group of nonprofits as well as this coalition that work together towards that goal, and great success stories and great stories of how MCCH is able to support and intervene in these people's lives and provide them the support they need to reestablish themselves. And Fire Rescue's interaction is multifaceted, multi-point with MCCH. We do it on every call we go to. We do the support with the homeless members of our county, as we treat them as any patient, as any contact we have. But one of the normal interactions that the Mobile Integrated Health Team has is with the MCCH group as a part of our McNick and Mobile Integrated Health activities. So Captain Baltrowski and Captain Robinson really were the ones that shined at the event and show how Fire Rescue is looking beyond just the patient in that event and looking to see how we can systematically help that person in conjunction with the other partners in the county and in the community to overcome those challenges. And it was a great opportunity for our members, men and women of MCFRS, to be recognized for what they do and what they do on a daily basis by the MCCH coalition. And as we talked about, that was followed right after our EMS Provider of the Month activities. Now, you were there for that. What do you have for that?
Well, that was pretty impressive, as it always is, and we know that every day these types of occurrences take place. But in this particular event we had not long ago, we had a couple of young people, a young lady who made the right call, called 911, and probably saved her grandmother's life. Then we had some other events involve young people. One child had been run over several times in cardiac arrest and so forth. I forget the exact number of people that were there, and then we had the mass casualty incident where we had a lot of the first responders were there. So a lot of folks were recognized. A lot of community came forward. In a couple instances, they were meeting their rescuers for the first time.
Right.
So, and matter of fact, I've gotten 2 calls from some of those community members thanking us again for our service, but also for the ability to meet their rescuers.
Yeah, so the EMS section, and that's spearheaded by Captain Laura Murdoch, they do a great job hearing from the stations, hearing from the people on the street about these calls. It starts for the co-workers doing the write-up and submitting that recommendation for the EMS provider of the month. So those reports, please keep sending them in. Please keep writing up the good work we do, because we do a daily intervention. So we do these amazing calls on a daily basis. So as Laura gets those and aggregates them together, looks at them, reads the reports, reaches out to the hospital, reaches out to the patient himself or herself and the family members, the ability to recognize the great work our folks do, as we are very humble. Traditionally, we say we're just doing our jobs. We say that, all shucks, it's just what we do, and we didn't do anything different than what we do tomorrow or what we did next month. But that's just a character trait of our profession. But to the people who we impacted, it is life-changing. It's life-saving. And as you said, with the children events, they're impacting more than just the child. It's the family, the extended family, and that community where that person, that child is living. Another community CPR, early access to AEDs. There was an event in a swim center, a gentleman having a medical situation. Luckily, a firefighter in the facility during PT hours, in conjunction with the staff there, did the right thing, had that AED, had CPR, had a ROS, return for spontaneous circulation after, proper high-performance CPR, and that provider and those personnel made a difference in those lives. So the ability to, as you said, have the citizen come back, have the resident come back and see their providers. Sometimes they've stopped by the stations, some more times they haven't. And the ability to hear from that person, their gratitude and their appreciation, just hear their voice and hear their, saying, thanks, I'm here because of what they did. So while I was unable to be at this event, the stories are always impactful. Seeing that reunion is always a great thing. And it again, it's only a small reflection of the daily impact we're making on people's lives with each of our calls.
And I think it's also nice for our people. Often, they just go from call to call to call, doing a great job saving a life here and there along the way. And they sometimes don't hear the end result. So it's really nice to see, especially for the first time when they come together in events like this. And we've seen it, each and every time they have these Provider of the Month ceremonies. So great work by everybody for sure.
Right. So you've got, I'm going to use your phrase, summer of safety kicking off, right? We're at May.
Yep.
We're going to focus on our specific topics in conjunction with our other public information folks in the county to focus on water safety, grilling safety, pools safety, all those other outside activity concerns, because the weather now has changed. We did go from winter to summer.
Right.
We pretty much did skip the spring atmosphere for a couple of days there, but we got to be ready for that and understand that our outreach activities have a little bit of a change, but we still made such huge impact with our CRRS surge and the smoke detector activities that we're still processing that and still doing those in support on our Saturday, with Saturday appointments to answer the call-in line or the 311 request, and everybody's getting such great feedback from those scheduled appointments where we're going into the house and making a difference and doing the smoke detector or in the CO detector. We just had a CO incident save. You know, the CO detector was, you know, annotated on the back of it, you know, installed by MCFRS on this date, and that was the detector that went off to trigger the 911 call. A life impacted by that simple device there, just to be that, I don't like to use the word silent sentry, but that, you know, sentry in the house that makes it available and provided that early detection.
And you've seen it as I have. A lot of it wasn't too long ago when, you know, we would have a tragic event, a fatality maybe, or a situation, pretty significant fire where the smoke alarm didn't work or people didn't get out or whatever. But our experience has been recently, last couple of years anyway, smoke alarms have worked, people have gotten out. And you know, that is the difference that we're making out in the field there. With the new smoke alarm law that came in effect in 2018, we had a big bump, a surge of activity, a flurry of activity, questions. You know, people need some information. That is continuing, but that stuff is really making a difference. And as we head into the summer season, you know, we know that the winter is typically our busiest time around here, but this is also a busy time.
Yeah, I mean, just last week it was a very newsworthy day. Thankfully, it wasn't in Montgomery County, but Prince George's County had, you know, their 3-alarm event where they burnt up, I'm going to say about a dozen, you know, townhouses under construction. Fairfax County had 3, actually no, 4,
yeah.
multiple alarm events, all in the same 24-hour period. Some of which, 2 of which were within 20 minutes of each other in the very western parts of the county. I believe the information is now stating that 2 of those 4 events were discarded smoking materials.
Yeah.
They were truly preventable style of incidences that, you know, garden apartments and townhouses as well. And then, you know, that next morning, Alexandria had that multiple alarm fire, 9th floor, 10th floor, 1st floor, you know, in a high-rise. Fire started on the 9th floor, auto exposed to the 10th, and then dropped down to the 1st. So, you know, a lot of work was had, and that's clearly a possibility at any time. And it's all about training and having those sets and reps and those skills ready to be prepared.
And you know, we've banged out a few calls too since then here in Montgomery County, so none of that magnitude, but you know, I think our quick response and our ability to suppress those pretty quickly. But we've had a few grill fires already. You mentioned the season's changing as we head to the summer season. Of course, we're going to focus a little bit of river safety and water safety down along the Potomac and Billy Goat Trail and so forth. So those things, you know, we're going to ramp up. Looking forward to a you know, summer of safety.
Yep. So definitely want everybody to enjoy the weather while it's still moderate before it gets to be hazy, hot, and humid. Get out there and get engaged and take those training opportunities as much as possible. So Pete, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
As people have questions about the summer safety topics, have them, you know, catch your social media pushes, as well as, you know, give you a shout. But as we talk about the summer of safety, all those different focus components of grill, water, the river, as well as pedestrian and biking, and then naturally our July 4th fireworks and how that is paramount to preventing burns, injuries, and fire events. Understand that that's just a perpetual and continuous community outreach activities and educational points. Ensure that you're ready, you and your crews are ready, and that the opportunities to take and absorb all the training capabilities are present. So as we're continuing through May and moving forward, take care, be safe, but always hydrate and be ready, as the weather will be upon us shortly.